Topic number 2. This is one we're just going to have a fun little random discussion, which I think is kind of fun, because I was thinking about this, especially with Voltron coming out and the way that they've redone that so well. I started thinking about a lot of other cartoons we would watch as children. And yeah, there's the obvious stuff that everybody knows about. Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, some of that. Thundercats. But there was a lot of other cartoons that were on either after school, Saturday mornings, or anywhere in between that weren't the big stuff, but still you kind of, have fond memories or weird memories or whatever it was about. So what I wanted to do is, for at least a little bit here, brainstorm some cartoons that you actually really liked as kids, and I'm going to lead it off with this, and I talked about it before the show. Remember Turbo Teen? Because that shit was cool. Turbo Teen. The kid that got zapped by a machine by a scientist, and wasn't the car a Ferrari? He merged with his car so that whenever he got too warm, he would turn into the car.
I remember him morphing and his face
would stretch.
Nothing creepy about that.
What the? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you don't think about it when you're a kid at that age, but how do you ever get intimate with a girl at that point? I'm like, you just killed her.
Don't get me too hot. I might turn into a car.
Yeah. Careful. That's going to become the carburetor. So,
You won't want to have your mouth on that when it does.
So brainstorm. Can you guys come up with any fun stuff from the 80s that wasn't really big but was still pretty cool?
Well, a couple that I had were actually, it predates that by a few years, but just everything kind of involved in that whole Space Ghost series.
Mm-hmm.
So Space Ghost, the Herculoids.
Yeah.
With the
Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, the ever popular and awesome Thundar with 2 R's, the Barbarian.
Was he the one that made the
He had his magical sun sword. Not a lightsaber. It's trademarked. This is a sun sword. And they would walk around the ruins of planet Earth after looking into ancient relics like computers and cars, and talk about what function they served back in the olden times.
That's a good one. Those are some good ones.
Jesus.
Just terribly awesome stuff.
Follow that, Matthew. Can you think of anything? There's a lot of stuff.
I remember Mask.
Mask was awesome.
I still don't understand the premise of it, though.
They had advanced masks that had them do technologically amazing things.
Yeah, and they'd be in their car driving, and then the mask would come down.
Yep.
And it would somehow change them.
Well, it didn't change them. It just, their bad guys couldn't see their faces, so no one knew who they were. That was apparently important. Each one of their masks had some kind of technical ability that could do something. And their cars would always have some alternate form. It could, almost like a transformer, but not into a robot, to like what Matt Tracker's car would fly because the
doors would open
up.
That's your transformation.
And I'm just hanging out there.
And physics, that's all it takes. And then jets just come out of the back. So,
clearly.
Yeah, but you know what? Something about, and I can't put my finger on it, why were there so many good 80s theme songs to these shows that you just have an immediate visceral reaction to them? I mean, every time you heard that He-Man song, the way that they were doing it with the background, and not so much in the Transformers the first couple seasons, maybe season 3 and before, but a Mask.
Well, it was all pretty formulaic too, wasn't it? As far as them putting that stuff
even some
together.
of the stuff, like what was that one, Dino Saucers? I can remember that in my head. There's just so many good 80s intro theme songs to some of these cartoons that really got your motor running that they don't do in shows anymore. And I know that maybe it's just, I don't know if it had something to do with just an 80s style, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, possibly. I'm hoping.
Because the new Voltron series, good, but it's not as good as the theme song.
It's very formulaic, and I also know that maybe I'm making an incorrect draw here, but I also know when you're watching anime, typically a lot of the production value that goes into the show goes into the opening of the show. It goes from series to series. You can actually see a lot of the money and a lot of the effort kind of goes just into that first minute and a half.
Way more than what went into regular episodes.
Exactly. It's not
Thundercats opening, awesome. The show itself, not so much.
Yeah.
Not so awesome.
It just translates into just some stock footage,
right?
And you can definitely see a difference in that production value. I'm assuming it's just because it was just the model that was used. There wasn't a lot of hype, I guess, for getting these shows up and running and getting people to watch them. So pretty much you had, when they started, you got 60 seconds to get somebody
before this
into
kid
that
changes
show.
the channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So whereas now it's kind of like, well, you know the show before you're even going to start watching it.
Right. I just remember there were so many shows you would actually keep watching because of that intro theme song. I mean, the Voltron.
You remember Heathcliff?
Oh yes.
Yes, Heathcliff.
Because Heathcliff had one of those songs too to start it out.
Garfield
and
and Friends. That
Things,
just makes me think of Garfield
Yeah.
and Friends because that
Yeah.
was so funny. That's still funny now.
but it had one of those intros, and then
Yeah.
the show just kind of sucked.
Maybe it was just that 80s kind of I mean, that kind of reminds me of Holiday Road. I mean, just the same kind of vocals and just the 80s guitar and the singing, you got it, or
Very upbeat.
some of the themes that were in there. But man, they did it so well that I'm just thinking, don't get me wrong, there's great shows for kids today, but none of this stuff grabs you right away with the theme song like so many of those used to do, like right away. And I'm just wondering what are the buttons that they push that they did so magically that just aren't as repeated as much. But maybe that's just looking back. I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is.
I think it was just kind of like the more acceptable, like with the theme song, just that high energy.
Remember
upbeat
Silverhawks?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and
That theme
Yeah.
song? It should be stupid,
and
right?
then the show blew
some
up.
guy yelling Silverhawks, but when you hear it with the music and then see the anime, because again they put all that into that, it just really hits you.
and that all. I mean,
a lot
that
of
goes in-
talented out of work musicians, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, but it's the same thing with the movies at the time, like watching Bloodsport with Van Damme and hearing like Stan Bush singing, not "You Got the Touch," but the other song that he was famous for.
Yeah, like the Eye of the Tigers of this world.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right up that alley.
Well, can you guys think of any other? You know what was cool that you can't watch anywhere else? Remember Muppet Babies when we were kids? And I know that might sound weird as an adult male to be bringing up Muppet Babies, but what was so cool about
Remember
that show-
Shirts?
Shirt Tails.
Shirt Tails,
Yep.
that's what it was. I'm sorry.
Yep, Shirt Tails was good. Dude, get your shit right. This is a nerd show, right? We got to keep up with cred, There's a TV show. Dude, it's Shirt Tails, man.
yeah, we can't have another Star Trek episode.
What was I just saying?
You told me.
Before you said
you got?
Shirt Tails.
Just derailed him. You derailed him, man.
Whoa, the wheels have come off.
Uh huh.
I'll throw another cartoon out there though.
Go for
Dungeons
it.
and Dragons.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
awesome. Oh yeah,
used to
Muppet
love
Babies.
that cartoon.
Yeah, but no.
Muppet Babies.
Let's get to Dungeons and Dragons in 1 sec before I forget. Muppet Babies was so cool just because they did that so much adventure where they would just go off and do anything. Like they'd be on Star Wars episodes or Indiana Jones, or they'd be stuff all over the place. And apparently they used so much footage from other TV shows and movies that because of the licensing issues, you still to this day cannot get Muppet Babies on any kind of DVD platform or any kind of streaming service. Same thing as the Drew Carey show. They did too much music. It's too expensive. Doesn't that suck?
Really?
Yeah.
It does suck.
And they're coming out with the Muppet Babies again. They're bringing out a new version, I think, next year. But anyway, let's talk Dungeons and Dragons. The real shit.
I love the bow that didn't have a string.
Yeah.
I mean, that show to me was like, it was cool. I mean, I didn't get to see it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
But
always
I remember the opening was like they were on like a roller coaster or something like that.
And then they just end up in another world.
Yeah.
And you're like, who's this dungeon master? And why does this bad guy only have one horn? What the fuck, dude? What happened to the other one?
Yeah, it was like the guy from Legend.
Yeah. Remember they had a Rubik's Cube cartoon?
I do not.
Rubik's
remember.
Cube cartoon where the Rubik's
I
Cube was
don't
some
remember the
alien,
cartoon.
and if you unlocked it with by turning it so all the colors matched up on all the sides, he would come alive and would basically get them out of trouble and was magic and could do everything. There was a Punky Brewster cartoon that
I remember
somehow
Punky.
she had a magic creature that came from the rainbow that got left behind or something. That was another intro
I
song.
remember Pac-Man,
Yep, Pac-Man was good.
and then there's Cubert, and then there was a Nintendo.
There was a
Remember
bunch
the
of
Nintendo
Nintendo
cartoon?
shows.
Captain N.
Captain N, the Game Master.
Yeah.
Then there was
Yeah.
The Adventures of Super Mario Brothers 3, and then it was Super Mario World.
Mhm.
Captain N was freaking awesome.
I don't know.
I
They
mean,
have the
no,
power
watching
glove?
it now, it's really not.
Their
It's
take
bad,
on
but
Mega Man with like laryngitis.
yeah, they had some
being
interesting takes.
He's like a little stodgy, like fat guy.
Yeah, and they made Kid Icarus this ginger, like red-haired, very pale, and with every other word he would just say Icarus. I have to go to the bathroom, Icarus, and I'm like, come on, dude.
It was the same guys that did the writing for the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yeah,
It's writing a series on a series of
live
video
action,
games.
half the show. Great idea.
Yeah, without actually ever having played the game.
Uh-huh.
Just give me the Cliff Note version. I'll write around that. No, I don't need to see it.
Mask was
Captain
really good.
Planet was another one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That had a good theme song that really got your your motor running
That's
too.
a
Yeah,
might,
and
mighty
then the
mullet.
episodes usually sucked.
Yeah.
I
You'd
think
almost
they've tried to
laugh
make that
at
into a
the-
movie a couple of times.
You'd almost laugh at watching these villains that look so obviously evil because I look like a giant pig monster, and all I talk about doing is
And I have a curly mustache.
wanting to pollute the world because I just want to. I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous, but Whoopi Goldberg is Gaia, the spirit of the earth, so we're just gonna go with this. You guys think of anything
There
else?
was another one I was thinking of.
Sure.
Oh, Pee-wee's Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I just
I remember watching it when I was a kid.
turn into that show and they
Cherry.
say the word of the day and they all scream for like 5 minutes. That show's even funnier to watch today for many reasons.
Well, Cowboy Curtis was
Oh.
Lawrence Fishburne.
No, he was the mailman, wasn't he? Oh, no, you're right. He was the cowboy. Yeah.
Really?
There was a few people in there.
Yeah.
You guys remember Camp Candy?
Yes.
John Candy's. He was the camp counselor for a bunch of kids.
I think I do.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds familiar.
Let's see. We had
There was like one or
Smurfs
two
always
season
rocked.
runs.
Smurfs went on for
Smurfs,
like
yeah.
9 seasons, but that was really
There was
good.
a WWF cartoon for a while too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah. They're all.
Yeah.
They all.
The
worked
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
and
they're all-
Was
they're
it
all hanging
real
out
or
like
was it
that.
fake?
No, it was animated. It was.
What was the show with Mr. T
Was
and
it
all these
real as the
Olympic
wrestling?
kids that would go around like helping people? What was that show?
I think it was just Mr. T, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was called Mr. T and something. Because he would go on this bus with all these kids.
Mr.
And
T and Friends
And what?
And Friends.
and
I don't
Friends.
Because there's nothing kind of creepy about that either. For some reason, too, he's like an acrobat in that show.
Yeah.
Exactly. I pity the fool.
That greenlit that series.
Robotech was awesome. That wasn't really a Saturday morning cartoon as much as that was always something hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Some of these anime stuff that we got into later would just...
A lot of the local
I
stuff.
was young. What was it? Heavy Metal.
The movie?
The
Yeah.
movie. I remember because we had HBO. We was like one of the only kids I know that had cable.
Oh, you were the cool.
I remember we
And
rented
that movie
thinking,
came out, and it was like I remember watching it, and I'm like, what in the fuck is this?
Yeah. Some freaky.
It showed like boobs and drug use.
Yeah,
and it was like weird.
Wheelbarrow full of cocaine.
Yeah.
How many of that left? Oh, a little. Oh my god.
Another thing Charlize Theron wrecked.
That and dreadlocks.
In the Fast and Furious franchise.
Well, can you guys think of anything else? I think we named a bunch of them.
I mean, we can keep going down the list of everything. Like they did the Karate Kid show. They did
God,
that.
that's right.
That
Oh, yeah.
that Lone Star show with the Native American space
Brave
sheriff.
Star.
Whatever.
This eyes of the hawk and
Yeah,
speed
yeah.
of the puma. That's right. That was the cartoon company Filmation that did He-Man.
Yeah, you can definitely tell by the roided out dude designs.
What was I reading that He-Man almost didn't come about, the cartoon and the TV show? The only reason it came out is because Lucas went around and pitched Star Wars toys to Mattel before Star Wars came out. They said no. All he wanted was 750 grand.
Well, didn't they make He-Man just to sell the toys?
Well, here's what's funny. So they said no. Star Wars becomes this monster hit. Mattel's fucked. They need to get something out. and that new law had just passed that said there was some deregulation that passed that now you could have something that was a toy that was also on TV. Apparently there was a big law you could never do that before. That passed. That's when you had Transformers, G.I. Joe, all this type of stuff. But then there had to be a spin. You had to have some positive elements to the show and some lessons. That's why they would always have at the end of the shows, today we learned this and the more you know kind of stuff at the end of the episodes. But so they were pitching. They wanted to do a Conan the Barbarian, couldn't get the rights, so they did something similar. And the guy that was pitching this to, I think it was Mattel, if I remember. Isn't it great when you get all this third-party information that you kind of remember?
And
the
it's
show?
only partially
this
there.
This is why people keep coming back. Yeah, but he was presenting to these execs, and they were going to do a lot. They were planning to maybe do like a hour special for this He-Man stuff, where they wrote all the backstories for some of these characters. And they said, well, what'd they say? 6-year-olds that you're targeting for this toy, don't watch this stuff, or don't watch TV, or don't read what you're going to put out, or whatever it was. He said, well, actually, we're going to be doing a series. And they go, oh, really? Well, maybe, show us what you got. Left the room, had no idea what he was going to do because he completely made that up on the spot. So that's when they came up with the series, and they were going to syndicate it instead of, going after just one of the networks. And because they couldn't get something that they wanted to do it once a week, they ended up syndicating and doing it every 5 days a week, weekly, which is why a lot of the animation is reused and
real bad.
Yeah. Over and over. But it worked because they had, I think, like between 7 and 9 million kids watching that show on a daily basis, and it fucking exploded. But the reason we got that is because of Star Wars, because Mattel missed out on Star Wars, which I think is really interesting. Anyway, that's your lesson for the day. Now you've learned something too. So you guys got anything else you want to throw in for 80s kids cartoons?
GoBots.
GoBots! The Kmart version of Transformers.
Exactly. Yeah. Justice, or not, what was it? No, there was a Justice League cartoon back then too.
Yeah.
It was the Super Friends.
Well, yeah,
or
but
Super Friends, there you go.
Didn't they have like multiple, they had Superman and his
They had
and the
Legion
Super
of
Friends,
Doom
but
in
then
there
they had
and
another
everything.
one that was called Justice League, I think. They had like 3 different ones. I'm pretty
I
sure.
remember going to Burger King and getting that cup.
Yeah.
It had like Batman holding a cup like out like this. And then you could get Superman and he was like this. And then he was attached to a cup somehow, but it was like the Burger King thing.
Nice.
So.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice. We had all those action figures too. Green Lantern and Superman, you squeeze their legs and then they would punch. This is why you watch this show. Oh, you fucking know it. You love it.
Oh, man.
All right, cool. Well, we'll open up that wound again, I'm sure, at some point in the future. Maybe open it up beyond just 80s cartoons. And I'm sure we'll think of some other ones going in the future. If you can think of any other awesome 80s cartoons, and I know there's lots of them, so obviously we didn't think of everything.
Even
We've
the
missed a
not
ton of
awesome
them.
ones.
Yeah.
Throw the lemons in there.
Remember that show called
Yeah, throw the
Biscuits?
Alf cartoon.
Yeah.
Alf. Alf had a cartoon, then he also had, remember Alf Tales? Where they would actually do stories like Robin Hood, but like from Alf's perspective, so they're all Alf creatures or whatever, and it was fucking funny. It was almost like
a lot of
edgy
cocaine
humor.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's why I had such a big nose.